live. Give it the old tag to let people know to come watch.
You got Lena Morgan spectating, big name in the L5R there.
Yeah, actually, really strong player. Almost as good as our current Shogun, I would imagine.
So for a middle-aged housewife, she sure is. She sure does defy expectations when it comes to play. That.
I will quickly peruse these deck lists. One thing to note for people watching, and that's gonna play a big part here, is that this crab list has kind of gone back to no way of the crabs, where since it's just full tower, the slots have been cut down. There's no assassinations, no way of the crabs. Similar to I think like last year at Seattle is what we were doing something similar.
How do you feel about that in this current meta, Neil?
In the current meta, I think
Mm.
that I think that is a little bit aggressive, given that I feel that is one of Crab's best tools to generate advantage in a lot of matchups.
I would agree.
I also think that with the character suite that has been added, mostly Gallant Quartermaster, um, that the cost of just playing one to kill literally anything is fine. Whereas before,
Yeah.
like you didn't always trade up. With Gallant, it's pretty hard to not just trade it at bare minimum, even right. Like at worst is just a tempo trade. You're discarding a card, but you're getting the money back. So, I think with the advent of some of those things, I would feel very naked not to run it right now. And it really does change how the matchup plays. This matchup in particular is, I would say, one of the ways Crab does win it is by forcing away of the Crab and capitalizing on that tempo.
Yeah, definitely. Especially turn one in this matchup where Phoenix don't have their cancel, where it's kind of like the turn you've got to try and get some stuff done. Like
Yeah.
where the crab really helps the
Hmm.
first turn at the very least. And also kind of eats the cancels later on, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't cut it. They didn't cut it for like no reason. I would say the strategy that they are playing is a very older strategy. Honestly, this is something that your boy Darren Hazelden has been preaching since like 2018. Is a height of
What's that?
fashion, height of fashion in Crab. Casada
Seen
wearing a
that.
kimono.
It's very fashionable. It can be
It's
very fashionable.
it's the
Right,
poncho. Oh,
we
they
actually
they
got
didn't put the clocks.
in.
We're just gonna quickly go back in.
I know. I'm playing Kaikou now. Whoops. Okay, we're good to go now. 40-minute chess clocks.
What's the password against? 111
2-4.
34.
2-4. 2-4.
Oh
1-1-1-2-4.
Jesus!
Jesus.
Stumped. All right. So yeah. So things to note. Important numbers to note here. Oh, yeah, he actually does have a single copy of Assassination, so at least he has that going for him. Assassination is super good versus Phoenix.
Mhm.
Similar to why even Way of the Crab is just always good versus Phoenix is the small characters. You really do rely on them. Because Asako Suki with the Studios package is important. Honoring the scholars, and then just the small Shugenchas. Phoenix really likes to two-fate them and carry them through to kind of power up their storms.
Yeah. What's going on here? There's some sort of rule contention. The first player was determined.
Do you remember what it was? We've already established the randomly deciding first or second. Having to remake the lobby doesn't affect that. So okay. So if Fro is first player, he chooses first.
Right, let's get some blood, please. Let's blood.
Interesting that they chose to go second. I have not
Yeah,
I have not found the need to go second in any matchups yet. I just value passing
I'm
fate.
very much a first player token purist when it comes to this. Maybe that's wrong though. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Which which is I guess a good thing. We're not in the just strictly better phase. But it definitely feels like first player is stronger. I don't
Yeah,
feel like
this
I
game.
don't I don't feel like I lost the game when I go second though, like I used to.
Yeah, that was really. I mean, like going first last time meant that. Oh god, what was the old rules that made it
You got
one
eight.
way
You
was
got
so
eight
much
fate.
better?
You got eight fate, dude.
Is it second player though? If you were
Mhm.
going, yeah, yeah. For
Yeah, yeah.
some reason, second player got more. It's so
Imagine,
ridiculous.
imagine. Hey, what's up, Rem? Imagine going second. You got eight fate. Your opponent buys something, right? You pass, go to 9, and then you hit seeker and go to 10. Imagine just being 10 fate on turn 1. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be nice. It'd be nice when you have Tadaka in your deck. I can see
And so this is one of the reasons that we were talking about Way of the Crab. The fact that we know Spain doesn't have any allows Fro to open something
that.
super defensive like this and not get
Yeah.
punished at all.
No, this student of the Tau is going to make his life miserable. I believe just talking with Mosey about some of the practice games they played for this, it's been like this is Fro's favored start for sure.
Yeah, for
The,
sure.
the
If
four
I was
phase
playing the
student.
matchup, I would want this, or I would want to open like an Inferno Guard Invoker into Tadaka play. Like
Yeah.
those are how I want to open up this matchup. Uh,
What do you
Shibuya
think about this
Jimbo.
four fate? Do you think this is a little excessive? This four fate right here.
No, no, I love to I love to grind. I'm in for the long haul here. If I was second player, I would have three faded her because you can't guarantee the passing fate.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Okay, fair.
but like for instance, if my opponent buys Envoy, I can buy Tau for fate, and if they pass, sure they get a lot of fate, but also they don't have like conflict characters or like a lot of things to really punish me. There's only three conflict characters. It's two rivals and a Kotoe, and a political rival is hilariously bad versus the current Phoenix Row.
That's very true. Avert means nothing.
It can't break Senpuku Saito. It doesn't want to break Upholding Authority, and it actually has it's literally blank versus
0%.
yeah it's
It's
literally blank versus Korimori. Like Shameful Display is the one province that that's political rival can attack.
Yeah, but it's gonna get sent home by the students.
Yeah, exactly. And Fro opens with a Studious
uh,
too.
there
So
we go.
we did see a Shameful into a Clarity, which then just goes court games. The Studious draw after the Clarity, and Fro's gonna pass his conflict for sure. Yep, that's what we see.
Absolutely no hurry to do anything with this huge fucking block of stats now on the table.
Yep, I think Kaikou attacks the Shameful again. He might take this opportunity to scout with the favorable ground, so that way if you hit upholding, you are safe.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't really get behind any crab deck that
Mm,
doesn't have Way of
well,
the Crab.
and here we go. So Fro doesn't have to do anything. Fro knows that Kaikou has no way to get a glory into this conflict. You don't want you don't want to find Senpuku Saito here, Adorai. You want to force action. I think Kurai is the hit that you wanted. You deny Seeker Fate that way, and then you still threaten.
Yeah,
Whereas the current hit here is interesting that
uh,
Fro. Why did Fro defend?
I don't know. I don't know why he blocked that. Like, I think that was unwinnable, right?
It's actually just straight up unwinnable for Crab there. I wonder if he just the way he saw it was he just wasn't going to attack, so this is just less clicks.
Uh, In
It,
that click equity when he can.
no, it also okay. So this is a little bit this is a little bit deeper. I don't know if this is what he was thinking when he made the play, but if you block and put the ring out of the pool, you then become no. He's gonna become second player. No, he absolutely should not have blocked. You wanted 4 rings with fate instead of 3 if you're gonna go into the turn being second player.
That's awkward. We see a bunch of holdings on Crab's side, but he will get a chance to get some fate next turn.
I'm buying this Shibio Jimbo with 3 fate
100.
to
Yeah, you're
mirror my
100%.
Tao.
Yeah, you're just 100% buying this Yojimbo. The Invoker's not doing anything.
See,
Two fate.
I I,
AJ.
I would have put 3 on my Shibio Jimbo. I like all my characters to be synced. Especially like the protection character. Basically the way I look at it is I'm buying this Yojimbo for the student of the Tao, so I want them both to be around for the same number of turns, right?
Makes complete sense.
Shibio Jimbo pulls so much duty in this game. She's obviously just a hard cancel to defend your honor, and then also prevents things like just surprise Jade Tetsubo. So one of the traps in quotation marks that Kaikou has is Illustrious Forge, flipping one of the 3 Jade Tetsubos, and then you get a key character bonked immediately.
Yeah, maybe he was leaning more on the J Tetsubos to remove stuff in the way of the crabs when he came up with the deck idea. But
Yeah,
that path is fraught with peril.
I mean that's what we were doing before. We weren't even playing Cloud, right? We were literally using Jade Tetsubo as our Clouds against Cunning Magistrate and stuff.
I like J Tetsubo. I just like it more in harmony with other removal stuff. But that's just me.
So Fro does block with the
Okay.
student. I would have maybe considered blocking with the Yojimbo, but I guess maybe I think I want to block with the Yojimbo if I'm blocking here.
He's thinking about it. He's flamming a little bit. Either Yojimbo in case this J Tetsubo comes down.
Yeah, but if a Jade
Right.
Tetsubo comes on the Vanguard Warrior, you could just also not.
I mean, he'll probably just Faithful Ground in the Witch Hunter and put it on that. A bad value
Sure,
on the.
sure, but like the Witch Hunter doesn't have any glory, so it doesn't actually help you win the conflict. If that's the case, you can favorable ground home and then play like an Ancient Master or something.
Oh, and the Province Strength from Favorable Ground stops Sampuku Sedo from breaking. And
Yeah,
it hits the student at the tower.
Fro wasn't afraid of attack of breaking. Actually, Fro didn't want to hit Illustrious Forge Adoroid. That is actually the reason not to make an attack. Is if you hit Illustrious Forge and the Witch Hunter finds a Tetsubo and bunks all the fate off your student of the Tau, you feel dumb.
Okay, finds defend the wall.
Goes military first. So this tells me it doesn't have the second clarity. We see a Watch Commander come down.
I don't think he's going to be super worried about that. Something tells me.
Does he want? Well, he is only on 2 shrines, so does
He's
he
seen
want?
one and chugged one.
Yeah, which is
Okay.
really important.
Today, after watching Kaikou play in the Swiss, you can't count him out. He's a very good player.
No. I think that he's while being unfavored, I do not think this matchup is unwinnable.
Aye.
All right, so we have both core strongholds being used for just your minimum stat buffs. I've come to greatly respect just the classic, +2 from of card effects after playing draft mode, where you're kicking and struggling to make your character like even have any skill at all. Interesting. So
He doesn't have the skill to break this, so he's just piecing out. Or maybe he's just not super worried about playing into this Watch Commander.
wait, is also not using his favorable ground. Your
That's
opponent's
an awkward one because your opponent's also got it as well. So if you favorable.
well, now that your opponent's played Mountain, you should definitely favorable, I think.
Yeah, okay, now there's an argument.
Like, I understand that it gives +1 strength to Senpuku Saito, but also I don't want to have to burn a stand here that I don't need to.
Okay, so Chris doesn't use his favorable grounds. He's free. Oh wait, hold on. No, that doesn't matter.
So Kaikou's just
Hey,
all right.
going
So
to
here's the
upholding
upholding hit,
authority.
and we're gonna see a no defense pass here, and we're gonna see Kaikou leave with the favorable ground. I can't imagine his 11 card hand. Yeah, exactly. Is worth risking here.
Oh, that's what he had to save his favorable for.
And then Chris passes to tie favor here. I guess Kaikou could force the issue if he has his one copy of Hida Kotoe or an Elegant Tessin. Nope. I guess Elegant Tessin doesn't work because you'd have to use your Iron Mine and your Vanguard Warrior then. Alright, so push favor.
What duels is this crab deck running? Because I see Proving Grounds in the row here.
Duelist training and Defend Your Honor.
Bare bones for Proving Grounds.
It's only 2 copies of Proving Grounds, and it is a holding that is searchable by Caillou Forges.
This is true.
So, I mean, definitely not something to rely upon, but also something that can generate you value.
Okay, so Kaikou's Massive Brain gets him this Tickets Please, which bows the student.
Yeah, I'm not using my Yojimbo on that.
So Chris put a lot of fate on these characters, and so far they haven't done very much. But I imagine he's just playing a slow inevitability game, right?
Yeah, maybe he's playing it a little slower than I would have. I definitely would have blocked the Void Ring. I think just giving that Void Ring for free down that turn was just a little bit loose. So this 3 Fate Inferno Guard Invoker signifies to me that he has a Tadaka.
Yeah, and of course, Crab in the slightly awkward situation of not being able to build up too much of a board because it's just going to get BBQ'd.
Yeah, but like if you don't buy anything, like I don't know how you're supposed to play. You have the Iron Mine and you have reprieves. Like I mean, you have answers right now. Like I don't think buying Casada 3 Fate is that bad here.
It's fine. It's just one of those things that inevitably feels bad down the line because you know what's going to happen.
He went the opposite. He went the opposite direction with an 8 Fate Casada. So this is the classic.
Big.
The classic counter to Consume by 5 Fires out of non-cuteness Aloe decks. You used to do this. So in 2018 Worlds, some Scorpion players were testing Consume by 5 Fires. The Australians were, and I remember testing against Bert where I just put 8 Fate on my characters because he only had 2 copies of Consume by 5 Fires. I'm like, well, you literally can't kill them both in time.
Okay, so we've just seen a 1 to 5 bid. So Kaikou knows his win condition here, and it isn't breaking this row. Or it is, but it's doing it with a load of watch commanders in play that makes it hard for Chris. So let's see what happens here. I imagine this Casada is going to get
I'm really surprised Chris doesn't season here. I would have played Season of War.
I've just gone rid of it. Yeah, it's a really good flop, actually.
If I have Tadaka, I don't care about whatever my row is, right? Like I'm looking for holdings, I'm looking for literally anything. You get rid of the Proving Ground and an Iron Mine, right? Which are 2 really important things. You get rid of any big character for your opponent to buy, so like they could just flip all chuds again, and you can seize tempo.
Here we go. Jimbo coming in on the Iron Mine.
I would make this attack with the Inferno Guard Invoker. Yep.
And he does, yeah.
If you flip Illustrious Forge here, you don't want to get your Jimbo bonked.
And it isn't. It's Fields. There we go. Yeah, so he's got ways to keep up with this draw. I really like the European players' deck ideas. You know, over my time in playing cards, I've noticed that North American people try to find like the most powerful kind of good stuff efficient deck, and European players generally make these kind of slightly weird off meta decks.
I mean, other than the other than the height of fashions, this is pretty much what every other tower clan has been doing, which is abusing proving grounds and duelist training. So
This is
like
true.
I get it, that um you know you still have to think about this, but this is also not anything so out of the box like, oh
No,
my
it's
god.
not. I don't think you can have like super mental out of the box decks
Yeah, yeah,
to
like
get
the
this
height of
to work.
fashions, the ponchos. I'll admit, I would never have added. I would never have added ponchos to my deck. But like, playing a tower deck with duelist training and proving grounds,
That's not. Yeah,
is
yeah. It's
not
not.
not the most giant brain thing in the world.
I'm not reinventing the wheel there.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
like. I
exactly.
like that. I like that you call them ponchos.
Yeah, that's Usagi's name for them.
Brilliant. That's so funny. Okay, so
Oh, discarding a J
in
Tetsubo is really
the
big. So every
yeah,
attachment that you discard via Tadaka or Earth Ring is an attachment you don't have to let go.
yeah, and there is Tadaka now.
Yeah, it was just very telegraphed.
Yeah, the 3 Fate Invoker generally means that Tadaka's coming down because
I might have
it's just a 3
considered
on a.
I might have considered forfeiting that Inferno Guard Invoker, just because I literally want to be using Tadaka so often, and especially if my opponent's like going to be looking to drop their bids. It's so hard to play the card attrition game with Phoenix between the auxiliary draw that Phoenix has and just rumbling into upholding authority, and on
Okay.
a ring that Chris doesn't give a shit about.
Oh, so this is just going to ready the Witch Hunter,
Yeah, yeah.
and
He doesn't have any fuel. His conflict characters don't support the Witch Hunter this turn. So if he doesn't win this Water Ring, he technically isn't going to use the Witch Hunter.
he is not.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Infinite Finesse. I'm just saying, you could technically not attack, or you could do a political attack, political water on upholding authority, which is what we see now. That is a safer attack for sure because that actually accomplishes something. Whereas before it didn't.
Okay, so he's doing it political. It's a poke. He's not looking to break.
I do think that Chris could consider using the favorable round to move his student of the Tau into a conflict to draw a card at some point.
Maybe now.
We do see a block here. Chris, understands that the removes both of his characters. I generally would have removed one there because I don't know how my flips are going to line up to keep my steady fuel on the fire. You know, sees 3 cards, chooses Defend Your Honor instead of the Fight On. I might have considered the Fight On and then just bought the Yojimbo next turn and known that you've been able to use the Yojimbos to beat the Defend Your Honors.
Hey, this clouded Casada. Feel sad. 9 turns.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this, so like this is the thing. You play her on fires, but you force yourself into the spot, right? All Chris has to do is spend his fate to buy characters now instead of playing consume at 5 fires, right?
Is Chris on papers as well?
I believe we submitted it. This is my deck list. Beck and Chris both submitted my deck list.
All right. Okay. So
The one that I worked.
Casada is going to be eating
Yeah,
shit this whole
it's actually
game.
funny. It's actually funny. The one I worked on this deck list with Demagogue, but the Greek Phoenix player added his own twist to some of it, and didn't go with exactly the list that Dema and I came up with, which was very funny.
What twist did he add to it?
He just cut some numbers here and there, and I know I know Jazoin really prefers, or not prefers, really likes naive students, and like that's his pet card, so he added those. They're not bad,
Okay.
obviously, but I prefer other characters. But like he cut down to, he only has like one Mia Mystic, and he has no Ancestral Shrine, stuff like that. But like still decided to play 2 Assassinations, so always a little crazy.
Oh, that's good news for Zarzaka tomorrow. You're just like, oh, it's like, oh, okay, all those changes make it slightly worse versus. Okay. Yeah, from what I understood, just having a quick look at all the top 4 Phoenix lists, they all looked exactly the same. But I didn't really like spend a huge amount of time looking at them card for card. So
Yeah, so I got the 2 assassination train rolling on Phoenix because I
yeah,
was
I mean
testing.
that makes complete sense now.
I was
You've got
heavily
the
testing it. I was heavily testing it even before the restricted list, and then once the dishonor changes went through, it just made it a no brainer. Actually,
yeah,
Chris
here's
actually
Scorpion.
Chris went
Yeah.
with the no papers route. So in the final days of testing, I came up with the fact that I preferred just having more characters than the 3 extra copies of papers, or sorry, the 3 extra rallies, and I established that I just preferred testing slots for Suke, which is going to take my paper slots. So just having the characters, I think, is a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more consistent, and it fuels things like Tadaka more.
Student of the Tau sends home the fight on the Witch Hunter, which is a nice touch. This is going to be the end of Shameful Display.
Yep.
Bang.
I guess Kaikou could play court games here to counter. There are no papers
No.
for sure. I would consider moving in the Student of the Tau to draw a card.
Oh.
I think sitting on this favorable ground is not that strong because I want to be using my Season of War this turn to get rid of this Iron Mine. And Chris very smartly discards an Iron Mine by discarding the face down card. It actually isn't objectively wrong anymore because there are no more Keeper Initiates and no more Rebuild.
That was just good. This is why I don't like Iron Mines and Cooney Labs as a restricted list card at the minute in Crab, because you just don't really have any control over
It's
how they
consistency, right?
influence the matchup. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not really excited about running 3 Pathfinder Blades, but at least I can control when I play them.
Yeah.
I can't do that with Mines or Labs.
Well, that's literally the name of the game in L5R, right? Is consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
would
if you don't
attack.
have
I would do
consistency of your
military
background,
void. I would do military void at Upholding Authority if I was Kaikou.
yeah, and just try and get rid of this Student of the Tower Studious.
I'm sure it's not even that. It's the fact that Fro will block, because Fro's not going to give you a free void ring even for an upholding trigger. Whereas this airing, you are forced to. I guess attacking Shameful here is actually moot because both the characters that are here all have their statuses.
Attacking Shameful is absolutely fine here.
Um,
Because, yeah, you can't put tokens on, but
I do like presenting my opponent with choices that are. I like presenting my opponent with the choices that could lead them to make a mistake. For instance, if I attack Void at upholding and my hand is like not like 3x of a card that I can't lose, right? Like it's like a hand that can survive an upholding. It makes my opponent think about making the wrong choice and like saying, "Hey, I won't block," and you can get a Void Ring off where maybe you wouldn't normally, right?
yeah. No, that's a nice line as well.
So he discards the Season of War. He's completely taken a different line than I have. I would just have preferred to get rid of the holdings here. Like, imagine if he seasoned here, he kills 3 holdings, as and then he gets to see new cards.
Yeah, this student that had 4 fate on it has done absolutely nothing really,
No, it
apart from
has
become honored.
it. Well, so it became honored, and then it got papers. So I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't out of choice, right? But also, I think Fro has held onto this favorable ground a bit. I think he's respecting Jade Tetsubo a bit too much, and is not churning through his Dynasty deck at a pace that I would prefer. He doesn't have any fuel, or sorry, he did discard the Prodigy. He has one piece of fuel.
So I'm guessing he has no let go, or he's telegraphing
No,
very few
there's
let
just
go.
no. There's just things that you want to let go. Like for instance, I would let go of this Cloud the Mind more than the Watch Commander.
Can't see that. Okay.
So I was doing play testing a very similar matchup. Not play testing. We were playing a fun game at Worlds this year, or 2019 Worlds against Enagon, right before Swiss had started. We just played a fun game, and I fought very aggressively to keep my Tadaka unclouded because my thought process is the same. Where if my opponent, or every card I discard with Tadaka, or every attachment I discard with Tadaka is the same as a let go.
I wonder what Kaikou's strategy is here, because he's kind of just like making attacks he can't possibly win. Do you think he's just
Well,
gonna try and
he
like
just took the fate off the
go the
ring there.
distance?
That was just I'm gonna take this fate and kind of reassess the turn.
I wonder if he's just gonna try and have guys in play in play for the rest of the game. Maybe that's a strategy. Let Chris run out of guys.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see if that works. So we see political Earth come down. Really funny point of view for Fight It Fashion. You cannot play that card during a conflict for whatever reason.
Skill too good.
Yeah, +4 skill for 2 fate is too good.
Get to play in conflicts apparently. Maybe it's thematic, like it's represented by getting changed into the kimono.
Oh yeah, it
in
takes
a
time. It takes
conflict.
time. Yeah, it takes time to get
It takes too long.
Yeah, to be that fashionable takes time. So
If you're trying to get into your dress while having a
yeah, while having a battle. So we do see a double block, and we're gonna see a box activation. These Paul attacks are really awkward because the one thing political rival is good at is defending. And that is really the best use for the rivals in the matchup.
I think he hasn't seen these rivals then.
I think he has a rival. Not buying the Butcher tells me that he has seen it. But I guess Butcher we saw Butcher is just actually not just actively bad in this matchup. So
Yeah, the only time you really buy Butcher is if you're close to the end of the game and on their box.
yeah, if you somehow
Then he's
miraculously manage to get to their box quickly.
yeah, if you manage to do that.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you have to have a bit of a lucky turn one and maybe break one of the problem provinces, which
It's
we
mostly
did.
just Saito. Like Saito, I think is the biggest province for Crab.
Senpoku Seido.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Like
That's
you
just a
can
real feels bad moment when you
you
hit.
can you can muscle into shameful display, and kind of just brute force it. We've seen it, throughout the course of the game, where I've seen and done it as Crab, where you just send an overwhelming amount of force at shameful display and say, sure, you can have this trigger. I'm Crab. My glory doesn't matter. I'm gonna break this province.
Yeah, and you used to be able to do it with KM to an extent as well, back when you were able to use Guardians and Labs and stuff, but alas, no more.
Oh, I think the tower decks don't have a problem against KM at all. Like, if this Kasada hits KM with a height of fashion on him, who gives a shit if the province gets flipped, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Got to see this height of fashion
So
get played.
we do
These
see a mountain does not fall get played onto Kasada. There's a second watch commander. Chris is happy to keep passing here. We're gonna see Stronghold get activated, I believe. Oh, there's the duelist training. Another reason that I would have used Season of War. My opponent, the game has devolved into one bids, and we're gonna play attrition. I don't want my opponent to have the ability to consistently gain cards via this proving ground.
fair comment. There we go. That's card number one. You're gonna see a little box trigger now for the win.
Well, box gets mapped by box, so Chris is gonna pass. If Kaikou boxes, Chris boxes the student.
Yeah. I expect to happen. How many cards has this Studious drawn? One so
One,
far?
one.
Wow,
Chris is
that's
not.
not great.
Chris has definitely misplayed his studious advantage, in my opinion. He let this student get voided a turn he didn't need to, and then he literally just has not triggered studious via multiple means. Like he hasn't stood the character, he hasn't moved the character. Like, the card has already paid for itself technically, right? Because it's actually already up. It's already earned its keep, right? It drew a card and it's going to draw another one on the way out.
We see a second duelist training, so now we may see the Yojimbo trigger.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I like you Jimboing this. It stops the card draw. Your Jimbo doesn't need to get, or your character doesn't need to get protected from anything else.
There's mountain. There's the fan.
Another reason I want to churn I would leave with favorable ground here. Another
Yeah,
reason
I would.
I want
Oh,
to
he does.
see more dynasty cards because I want to see Mia fucking Mystic here. Like, I want to be moving every card in my dynasty row every turn. I want to be flipping Mia Mystics, right? Like, that is another way for you to get out from under all these attachments, right? There's just too many attachments to let go. So having Mystics to really back you up is ideal.
What are your priorities for that going? If you're Chris here.
It's so Jade Tetsubo. I think Height of Fashion is really low actually. Um,
Yeah,
even though
anything we get
even
too
though it is
much
a
about
even though it is a big political number, the political numbers of crabs still don't match up like to your honored student of the Taos, right? You don't actually care. I think it's Jade Tetsubo is my top priority to get out of the way. It's
then
probably
Watch Commander.
Watch Commander in my opinion, and then I actually think I value Cloud the Mind higher than Duelist Training. Although in spots like this, for instance, I might get rid of the Duelist Training. Watch Commander is also subjective to the board state. Like Chris's hand really will dictate that. Plus, if I have Ancestral Shrine, things like that. Like,
Interesting. Vanguard Warrior goes on Casada,
yeah,
and
so he's
he's
gonna
going to use
iron.
the Iron Mine
Yeah,
to save the
exactly.
Wizard. Rolling this Iron Mine activation, and that's the second Iron Mine because the first one got discarded.
Well, no. So the reason you do this is in case your opponent flips Season of War.
Hmm.
So you want to get the value. Although I guess Daniel is giving Chris more respect than he deserves for actually using the text on Season of War. I am so agitated that Chris has kept this favorable ground since turn 1 and done nothing with it. It's literally clogged at that province. Like, cool, it gives you +1 strength on Senpuku Saito. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, this Chris's board is getting less and less scary as the game goes on here. I mean, these are all fine, but they are less honored and less statted than the ones that came before.
Yeah.
I think he really needs to. I think he's trying to. He's being a bit too sort of conservative and reserved. He could. He could have been a bit more aggressive. I'm not sure about now.
I mean, he's
Failing is bad
going against
news.
the fundamental ideas of dynasty mulligans, like just fundamental dynasty mulligans is to flush every turn.
Hmm. Yeah, I have a bad habit of not doing that myself.
So like you have to think about it this way: every character or thing that you leave face up, if it didn't generate you value, is a lost opportunity to see something important, right? So for instance, the best dynasty card Chris could flip turn by turn right now is Mia Mystic. Like literally just Mia.
Oh, the poncho comes down. Sorry, that's insane.
Yeah. Just Mia Mystic showing up every single turn for the next 3 turns is actually what I want more than anything else. Why are we taking defend the wall on airing here? I don't know why I'm giving my opponent a defend the wall trigger here. The
There it is,
rallying
yeah.
cries.
Yeah, that's it. That's why we're all here. Give
It's
us the
it's Hida
justice
Casada,
prep.
yeah, Hida Casada, aka Pancho Villa. Well, Chris has 22 dynasty cards. Like you can tone it down later. You still want to find your Mia Mystics. You also find your second ancestral shrine faster that way too.
I feel like honor's kind of important for Chris now. I mean, he's sitting pretty at 8, and that's fine now. But
It'll be something to watch. The moment Chris flips his ancestral shrine is the moment it stops mattering.
I feel like he's holding his let goes for reprieve. Am I insane thinking that?
Yes. I mean, like I guess you could let go the reprieve on the witch hunter, but also
Yeah,
like the Casada is more valuable.
I get that. I mean, I'm just wondering why we haven't seen a single copy played.
There's never been a spot where he's needed to. Like in what spot where would let go have done something for him to advance the game state, right? He's advanced the game state without having to play let go.
It's true.
It's not like Kaikou has put down a Tetsubo and just said, "All right, let's battle, let's fight over this," right? Like he's not like Kaikou hasn't given him something to fight over. And the moment these watch commanders become a problem, or the duelist trains or whatever, Chris will just play a let go pre-conflict on them.
Late going to Cloud as well. That's the other thing.
So if I had a let go, I would have snap let go to the Cloud last turn. Chris maybe is just going to let the Tadaka die and then bank on his second Tadaka to remain unclouded. That's another reason, again, I want to find Mia Mystics, right? Like, I really value the attrition that Tadaka applies to your opponent. Just literally every turn. Like, if you think about it this way, right? If you both draw one card, and then you also discard a card at random from your opponent's hand every single turn, like that's just a 100% card differential there, right? Because you're just gaining 100% card economy over your opponent. Because like when the games get drawn into these bids, like you just get to do whatever you want.
Tetsubo comes down,
It
so
doesn't matter. Chris,
probably doesn't even. No, he just
well, Chris,
bails.
yeah.
There we go.
So Chris can leave, and then Chris could also block it with the Yojimbo. Yeah, and so defend the wall has already triggered. Chris doesn't care, and so Kaikou bows out. Kaikou's gonna pass. We're literally just gonna go through. I think this game is gonna go to time, which is funny because I actually think both players have been playing quite quickly.
That's the reprieve. 20. I reckon Chris will let this go.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're gonna let something go, this is the spot here, and that's what we see. Yeah. So it's just the way I viewed it. If he had the let go last turn, he could have had 2 looks at that reprieve with the Tanaka already, right?
Yeah, I feel like I agree with that. I mean, maybe he's just like covering his bases. He's being safe rather than.
So this
not that
Kasada
super greedy.
this Kasada is reaching the danger zone.
Yeah, the dead zone.
I actually think the way this game is going to play out is it's going to be more nothing followed by nice lost papers, bro.
Oh yeah.
And Chris Flip's double library really strong for him.
Yeah, that is good. That's a really great flip, and he's got the seasons for the holdings. If he says, but
Well,
he's
you
also
don't.
got
No,
holdings.
he's got double library. You wouldn't do it here. You did it before because it burned. I killed the iron mine. That was why you specifically did it before.
Correct.
So I actually believe what's going to happen is we are going to see the Kasada hit 5 fate. It's gonna get consumed by 5 fires, and then if he doesn't have a dupe or I think all the Vanguard warriors might be gone. No, it's 2. There's 1 mine and 1 Vanguard warrior left.
2 reprieves if feeling saucy.
Yeah, so like he's just going to sit there and he's going to say, do you have both your reprieves here?
Yeah, I don't think he can win this game now, actually, because look at the card difference as well. It's 8 to 19 hand size difference.
So the let go on the reprieve is fine. You basically get a 2 for 1 there because you in essence use let go on watch commander there also. By allowing that character to die. We do see Studious draw. I mean, Chris does need to watch out. He's at 10 cards in his conflict deck.
He is.
So it looks like the card differential is huge, right? Like he's down 11 cards, but the real story is that he's only down 5 cards actually. It just so happens that most of his cards are in play. Because he's only drawn 5 less cards than Chris.
Right. I see
so the hand sizes are different, or they look bigger than they are. When in reality, the number of cards that they've drawn is closer than it would seem. I think that's something a lot of people don't realize. I like this water attack and defend the wall. It doesn't really matter if your opponent wins. You can then use Suki to honor your student of the Tau. Another reason I want to be churning my dynasty as Phoenix here is I want to find Asawa Ujina to really tax my opponent.
Proving ground draws a card.
Yep. we see IMS pumps up Tadaka up to 11, so they're both at 11. So with the crab box, Kaikou can then duelist train the Tadaka. I guess that might be too aggressive, because if
Chris bids to win, chucks cards.
yeah, you can chuck cards, right? The often forgotten part of it.
The duel. Will we see 1 to 5 and some cards chucked?
I would bid
Yeah.
I would bid 3 if I was Chris. So the obvious bids would be 1 to 1, right? So then you go next level, which is to 2 to 1 your opponent, and then you have to go one more level above that, where if you know that Daniel is smart enough to consider 2 to 1, so Daniel could bid 2, so you go 3. I think 3 is the optimal bid.
Okay, so your Jimbo just cancels.
Oh sure, like that works too. That's another option. Like I actually don't. I really like close duels because I think you have a lot of equity in your opponent making a mistake.
Like that too, yeah, and also like second guessing people. Sometimes people guess that 3-bid though. That situation you just described.
Sure. So
sometimes people
well,
totally read it.
well, so that means that Daniel would have had to bid 3, right? Which is fine.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. You don't like nothing bad happens because of that. Okay, so the Wandering does resolve. Chris readies his Student of the Tau and then passes. The thing is that Daniel has a ton of fate, but the moment this stack dies, it will be the game, because the actual characters by themselves are not strong enough to fight the Phoenix characters, whereas the characters plus the attachments are. We are going to go churn through. I would also ditch these libraries if I was Chris, looking for my ancestral shrine. And I would actually just sit on my shrine for this game, because that shrine represents 3 honor a turn basically. All right, so this is going to be the interesting play here. Kaikou having this favorable ground is really important. So if we know 1 defend your honor and 1 fight honor gone. However, you risk favorable ground moving to Kasada bonk you. You also risk favorable ground first, then play fight on, and then play defend your honor. So I'm probably attacking and then making my opponent use the favorable ground and then just leaving. Interesting. We're getting an all-in here.
All in at the defender wall.
Well, someone's gonna get bonked. I would go air here instead of earth, by the way. And I generally value earth more, but I actually think the airing resolving is more important for the long term of this game. You basically want to be in a spot where you can afford maybe like a watch commander trigger or 2, and then a reshuffle. Chris is also down 2 minutes on clock now. So
no, so that's
we're picking. I would pick a fight here. I'm playing Defend Your Honor if I have it. If I'm Daniel. Yep, and that's what we see.
See that, yeah.
And the reason you do this is because if you do have a fight, you tax them with Watch Commander. Pretty classic move actually.
Yeah, that's it. Make them play cancels in the conflict with Watch Commander.
Yep, and then you tax them with the. This is why also the airing is more valuable to me. I understand that the card differential is still important. You know, Earth Ring is very very valuable, but I want to have a buffer, especially knowing I only have 1 ancestral shrine in my deck left. I really
two honor there. It's quite. Notice those.
I mean that was 25% of his honor, right? Like that was a lot of honor.
Yeah, it really is Chris's game to lose at this point.
It feels that way.
I think you're right. I think we're going to see the 5-fires next.
Yeah, I think if we don't see a dupe or a Vanguard Warrior, we're gonna see another slow turn. We're gonna see a consume by 5-fires. We're then going to see let goes on a reprise, and then that'll be the game. There is a 5 fate political rival into the conflict. All right.
I love it.
Chris plays another card.
What's he doing?
Storms for 4. Chris passes, still getting the break, but then we just see 2 more fans come down. Just move in Suki here for +2. Oh no, he can't. He can't because of the Tetsubo. Moves in the Yojimbo. Yojimbo's about to get bonked. I think I value the. Okay, so the Yojimbo's about to get. Well, this is actually really bad because now the Yojimbo is gonna lose him an honor too.
Chris, what are you doing?
Man, I feel like Chris has just played himself into a losing position. Like, if he has a let go, he could also just have let go to this watch commander at any point. Man, plays another storm.
I don't think Chris has let goes.
I do. I think Chris has. I think Chris has a single let go. And he's saving it for the reprieve for this this 5-Fire's turn.
Fair. No.
Yep. So Chris is gonna end up at 3 honor here. He'll end up at 4 still because the Tadaka's leaving. Wait, this is just a second political rival.
He's not getting this break.
Yeah, I mean,
getting it.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're not. I'm not breaking. I wouldn't have pushed for the break. I honestly like breaking is not how I'm gonna win this game. Like, quickly. When my breaks come, I'll get them. But like, I'm not here to force. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
He played another card.
Oh my god!
What a fucking maniac!
What are you doing, Chris? You mental bastard.
Well, he's gonna. Oh no, the Mystic can kill the Studios.
The Mystic can.
Yeah, I would do that. By the way, I would absolutely do that. The way this conflict has played, and that's what we see.
There it is.
Yep, absolutely, I'm doing that.
Oh,
absolutely.
You got another skill there, buddy.
Do you want to play another skill? Imagine if this Imagine if this was the air ring instead of the earth ring. You're so much more comfortable going to 2 than you are now.
Passes and does not break that proving ground, which is
how
much of a big deal that is. But
that was one of the worst played conflicts I've seen in a long time. That was really actually horrific. We literally saw him hold that favorable ground. That was the favorable ground on Seppuku Saito. That favorable ground got held for 4 turns or whatever to make a just terrible play. So really tough.
Oh, Neil not pulling any punches here.
Look, I'm not here to play favorites. I call it like it is, right? Like, I mean, everyone knows Chris is like one of my best friends. Like, Chris is probably my best friend in the entire community, but I'm still gonna call him a Munson when he messes up, right?
Chris, that's some peak Munson behavior that you've just put there.
Indeed.
All right, so
here's a 5-Fires. I think is he just gonna 5-Fires to kill? Oh, he's gonna play both 5-Fires this turn.
He 10 fires?
Yeah, because so Kaikou basically tapped out, right? He has no fate for a reprieve. He's gonna 5 off the Kasada, and he'll play the second one here to burn the one rival and the Kasada, and then leave the other rival at 4, right?
This card is ridiculous. And that's both copies, though. So now he has to close out the game with what he has.
Well, it's not that hard because there's only 1 Tetsubo and 1 Watch Commander left, and 1 Duelist training. Like, that Consumed by 5-Fires was worth... Those Consumed by 5-Fires were worth so many cards from because of the attachments, right? I mean, I still think I'm fine if that was going to be your line. I think everything that led up to that turn or that play was terrible.
Well, I think Kaikou can now safely break Upholding Authority.
I'm absolutely I guess I'm keeping the season. Oh, there's the Ancestral Shrine. What a fucking lucker. Imagine being this lucky.
You're right. Kaikou sat on a very miserable amount of fate now, so we're probably just going to see one of these small guys get bought and a pass.
It's tough though because Kasada's on a broken province and he is one of your. I think 4 fate on that student, while I respect it, is definitely egregious. I would have put 3 if you really think the game's gonna go that many turns. But like this is something that Mark really has taught me to value, is to value you really need to be able to envision how many turns the game is going to play, because if the
Yeah,
game ends and the student of the tower has 2 fate on her, you just like that's just some huge massive fuck up, right? Like that's two fate.
that's very Mark Payment. His optimal game. You finish with no fate, one honor, and no cards.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
exactly.
literally
Yeah,
get
no
everything
fate in
from
your
it.
pool, no fate on your characters. Like that is, I mean that would be that's the perfect game, right?
Yeah.
You have
Absolutely
maximized
perfect.
all of
Yeah.
your resources to their fullest,
Yeah.
and so
I do agree with that as well. I think like this trend of hugely
there's just
overfading.
no way that this game is going 5 turns, right? Absolutely
I
no way.
agree.
So
100%. Yeah.
I think that 3 fate is still pushing it, and maybe 2 fate is. I think I would 3 fate, and then I'm able to eat a void ring and not feel as bad.
Yeah.
So Chris does run into the fertile fields. What is this other province that he refuses to attack?
It's illustrious forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would flip it here. What am I afraid of now? Like
That's a
the
good point.
like especially
The
if
other one,
I
right? You
presumably
know,
I also have a let go. I guess if I was really unlucky and I haven't drawn a let go, if I haven't drawn second let go in the top 34 cards of my deck, I feel afraid of a watch commander.
dude, Chris is like, Chris is actually has to like get some honor now.
Wait, no, he's fine. He's absolutely fine. If there's no watch commander, it doesn't matter. He's so far up on cards, he can trade cards all day, and he'll resolve this air ring to gain 2, and then he'll have he'll gain like 2 or 3 off his shrine this turn.
Yeah, fair
You
enough.
could even gain 2, and then when you win your ring on defense, and then for your next attack you return 2 rings and go air again. Like I like the being able to do multiple of the same ring in a turn is definitely something that's I think not utilized enough by people playing with the card Ancestral Shrine.
What happens? He just bounces off his row endlessly and redraws his conflict deck.
I mean realistically the way Kaikou wins this game is via time. Um
Yeah,
which so
he's
people are
pretty
gonna
smart.
complain about that and just point out maybe that shouldn't be a strategy or whatever. The reason that I am okay with that being a strategy is in terms of chess clocks. When you sit down to play a game of L5R in like a Kote, right? You both sit down and you and your opponent have a shared pool of what 55 minutes, 65 minutes, I think.
65
65
minutes.
minutes, right? So in a realistic, the perfect L5R game would be both players taking exactly 32 and a half minutes of time, right? That would be the ideal way for the amount of time to be equalized. However, when I give both players 40 minutes of individual time, I have given you almost 10 extra minutes than you get at a Kote.
I actually think it's absolutely fine to
Oh, I think
play
he
in
I
this
think he honored
competition.
the I think he honored the wrong student in the town. He wanted to honor the 4 fate student. Because he was just clicking that character to go home.
Asking in his own clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's fine. Toast. No, he meant to ready the right thing there. Sorry. There we go. That makes a lot more sense.
Oh, I see. That was the misclick. And then Suki's gonna honor the 4 fate student here. Again, I would have attacked the Illustrious Forge here. Um
He's
you
just been feeding Kaikou cards all
no
game.
not
His
really.
fertile
He's only attacked he's attacked defend the wall every turn, remember?
He's attacked fertile field twice before now. Or maybe not all
But
game.
this is
That's
the second
exaggerating.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
the second turn. This is actually the second turn he's gone there.
Hmm.
I think that the attacking Illustrious Forge here is 100% actually correct, because the worst case scenario is your opponent rips a Height of Fashion. But the best case scenario is your opponent sees a Jade Tetsubo and cannot put it on their character. So we see a
Red
common cause
fashion
to.
isn't even that good in that exact in that exact situation because this thing's got 2 fans on it already.
So I'm probably going Void here to clear out the Suki. We do see a Poncho come down.
Yeah, Pacho.
Three,
And
four, 5, 6, 7, 11. I think I'm attacking Shameful Display here.
I think I'm attacking
I'm
shameful display as
no, you
well.
can't. No, you can't. Fucking
Oh,
student
it's
of the
attacking
Tau.
upholding.
Yeah,
It's
I just block if I'm Chris to prevent the honor loss. I'm not gonna lose favor. And then I just trigger upholding authority.
This game is closer than it feels like it should be.
I don't think so. I think Chris has successfully turned the corner, and we're just going to see the slow victory here. Chris is still up 9 cards now. In hand, the cards are no longer in play for Kaikou. So
Chris's win condition is breaking 4 provinces.
Chris will stronghold break this game 100%.
Okay.
Ancestral Shrine gains 3. You just keep the
So
Ancestral Shrine for one more turn. The Ugina pitching that Ancestral Shrine is so fucking loose. Why are we pitching this? If you're gonna pitch any of your cards here, you pitch the Ugina looking for the second one later because you have no fate.
My God.
We're down to 1 storm, so these dreamers lose value.
Oh my God, this is.
Here's a
This is
Mystic
tense.
to kill the Cloud the Mind.
I don't think this is. Sorry, I don't think this is as foregone conclusion as you think here, Neil.
No, I think Chris will win this game.
Right.
What, like, Kaikou can't break 2 of Chris's provinces. So
I know all the student is in play.
No, he literally just can't break Kuremori or Senpuku Saito with his board.
That's true.
Like, it's not even that. It's just like a fact of it is that the way his board is set up, he literally can't.
He's got the both dash characters out at the minute, so that's not helping him.
Yo, what up next? Mark, what do you mean by power level makeup for mistakes? Are you saying that because even though Chris has made mistakes this game, he can get away with it because of the power level of the clan at the moment? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that is why, for instance, certain clans are higher, tier in quotation marks, or higher power level in terms of rankings. Like, that is definitely one of the reasons that playing a top tier clan is beneficial. You have more room for error. You have more room to make mistakes, but let your clan kind of pull you out. And I think that the perfect example has historically has been Scorpion in how they allow you to make mistakes and still get away with it because of cards like City of the Open Hand, for instance. So I think Chris had a game plan, but then he lost his mind on the conflict. He played a million cards and didn't break. Mark. Like, obviously Kaikou has played very well, I agree. But also I think Chris has made the game harder on himself for no apparent reason. And also, like, 3 fading these characters. Like, so the student should have 2 fate right now, and the prodigy should have 2 fate right now. And Chris should have more fate in the pool in his bank right now.
Right, so he's got 1 Banzai, 1 sword, 1 storm left.
For pumps, right? Yeah.
A couple of counting pumps here. All right, another break not achieved. Do you think he's in danger of getting timed out?
he might be.
Yeah.
Like I said if Kaikou was gonna win this game, it's because he will get timed, or Crystal time out. He meant to Mystic this Cloud 100%.
Doing here? Can I use the Mystic? Okay, yeah.
I'm making sure that people are asking on their own time. It's just something to note.
I feel like Chris kind of has to give him this Mystic
after absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
There we go. Yeah, you have to kind of. If you ask for a take back, you got to give one, right? That's the sportsman rules.
It's not even take back. It's just a click through, right? Like the watering was a misclick, and this is just a click through. Like, very obviously, the way Kaikou set that attack up, he's attacking Shameful Display with a rival that should have covert, right? Man, I think discarding that Ancestral Shrine was maniacal with your conflict deck about to run out.
Okay, so this click through is going to squander advantage potentially. Time off his clock.
So realistic. I mean, so I will give an extension, for instance, if it gets like really close. I don't mind giving like a 10-minute extension or whatever to both players. Like total. If you know, just to deal.
Oh, we've lost the connection.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
And unfortunately, this is not like the crane unicorn game.
This is
where I'm able.
very, very far from being decided.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something to do with these 20 spectator games?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't. I mean, I also don't know why we have 20 spectators when I am streaming the game. Like, you don't actually need to be spectating the game.
Yeah, I don't know who like
The
Fjorn well.
the team
Yes, rapper are.
Well, the thing is, the team chats also don't need to be spectating. If you're doing a team call, you can just share screen, which is actually just a better way to see the game. But I guess you then don't have to ask your teammate to like click discards and stuff like that.
I think that is going to be a restart.
That's a server crash for sure. Yeah, it's absolutely going to be a regame. We might run over on time, so we might need to split up the next casts.
That's fine. I can cast one.
Yeah.
Two. That's all good. I am about. That is sad news. Okay.
All right, let me F5 the server and see what's going on. The game still has not, the server has not fully reset yet, so the node has, I think the node might have gone down and they have to reset the whole server here.
Node. Okay, I'm going to AFK for a minute.
Okay. All right, it's still down. All right, looks like the server is back up. The next RL update is due is technically 3 months from the most recent one. That is the schedule. Considering we just got one, a little unsure. All right, I'm gonna stop my stream here, guys. Just stay tuned. I'm gonna start it up, as soon as we get to the next game.